I'm Brook, and I've got a couple of simple pros. And since I was using these so much last week, doing all of this printing for Autodesk, I really kind of fell back in love with these printers. It's not that I didn't love them in between, but when I'm working on another project like the Printrbot or one of the prosthetic bots, I don't know. I guess, what's that phrase? Being apart. Absence, yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Is that right? Yeah. So anyway, getting back to my simple pros made me realize these things are awesome. And I'm going to demonstrate why. Or I'm going to embarrass myself in front of a small live audience. Anyway, I'm Brook, CEO. And what I'm doing right now, I'll just kind of let you in on what's going on. So I'm going to simulate somebody getting this bot, what it entails to get it up and running, and all the way to printing. But the first thing I want to do is I want to be honest with the 176. I want to be honest with, you will have not yet have hooked up a printer to the Wi-Fi. These two have been hooked up to Wi-Fi. So I'm going to actually intentionally disconnect them from the Wi-Fi here. So, how do I do that? Well, I'm just realizing I need to break the password on the SSID. Oh. So I remember now. 10.0.1. 10.0.1.176. I think this is it. Yes, okay. I'll show you what I'm doing. So let's say I have this on the network, and I want to put it on a different network. In this case, I'm just going to break the password. And so, now the whole world knows that, well, no, you won't know anything. I'm just going to literally PBHQ. I'm going to act like I'm changing the password for the Wi-Fi. And I'm just going to type gibberish and save it. Not now. So this ESP, the Wi-Fi chip on the printer here, is actually looking for the SSID, which is like your network name, and the password. And there's this simple little screen. You don't have to zoom in, but it's just a white screen. Maybe I can zoom in. Let me see if I can do, I can make it really big. Well, that's bigger. So this is larger than it would appear on your screen. But our network is actually PBHQ. I added an extra Q, and I wrote gibberish in the password. So let's see if that worked. If it didn't work, at least you know what the screen looks like to hook up to your Wi-Fi network. I'm waiting. There it goes. Let me see if it's on the network. You can look it up, Dave, because there's a possibility I'm wrong. Oh, it worked. Okay, great. So this one was 10.0.1.176. How did I know that? I went to the screen here, and I went to the Wi-Fi, and it tells you the IP address. If you don't know what IP addresses are, when you have multiple computers and cell phones and whatever on your Wi-Fi network, the magical network box, your router or your Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever at your house or your work, it sees, hey, I know the name of the router and the password, so give me a number that data can be addressed to, And so that's the IP address. So this defaulted, when it tried to get on this fake network I just set up, I gave it the wrong password and the wrong name. So it says, okay, I'm going to try to find that network with that password. Well, it wasn't there because it's gibberish. So this is how it will arrive on, and again, no need to zoom in, Dave, but what I'm showing is on the printer here, I'm just showing the Wi-Fi screen. So it says the name of the printer, so you can change the name of your printer. So if I have two, I could call one Printrbot 1, Printrbot 2, or you could call it Clyde and Mary, doesn't matter. It says the Wi-Fi is listing right now as access point. So what happens when you get your printer and it ships to you, it's not going to know what your network name or password is. So the first thing you have to do is get it on your network. Well, how's it going to do that? So this guy sets up what's called a hotspot, Wi-Fi hotspot. So it is its own little server. And so that is how we're going to communicate with the bot for the first time. So anyway, all that to say, I just wiped the password. It's not on the network. And when it sets up an access point, it says Wi-Fi access point, IP address, 192.168.4.1. That might sound familiar to some of you with home networks that have that 192. 192.168.1.1 is a really typical IP address for like a hotspot or your router. Okay. All right. So this one, I need to wipe the password on this one too. So first I'm going to go to the Wi-Fi screen. I don't often use this without the heated bed or the bed on there. All right, I'm going to Wi-Fi. And by the way, when you do have multiple things hooked up to a network, everybody gets a unique, the router does this. You don't have to know anything. The router gives every device a unique IP address. So this one will be one address, and this one will be a slightly different address. And sometimes most of the time, it's sequential. So this one happened to be 10.0.1.175. This one originally was .176. So I wiped that one. That doesn't have an IP address. It's not on the network. This one is on the network. And so to access the little server in there, I just type in the IP address, 10.0.1.175. And that serves up that simple web page like I was showing. And again, Dave, you don't really have to show this. It's not that big of a deal. But it's on the network, so it's blank right now. But if I wanted to get on a different network or wipe the password for this network, I can just type in something arbitrary and save it. Save. Oh, it already did. All right. So now this saved the wrong password for the network, and when I power cycle, it should not be able to get on the network. What I'm really doing, this is the pre-show, remember. This wasn't intentional content. It means I wasn't quite ready. So hang in there with me. But I want to give you an honest experience of what it's like to set up a printer when it arrives at your house. Now I'm going to double check to see if what I think happened. What I think is, I was right. What did happen is it tried to get on the false network I set up, and now it's exactly like it would arrive from your home. So now I can start the show. All right. Dave, welcome back.
Thanks, man. Good to be here.
Anything you want to say about jury duty?
It's not the worst thing. There are a lot worse ways to spend your time.
Yeah.
Good
Dave,
to be an American.
Dave's an American. He served on jury duty. I haven't heard a word about it yet. Is it over yet?
All done.
All done. So later, I'll get the juicy details of all this. At least tell us one thing. What was the accused charged with?
Well, it was a civil trial, so it was a car accident.
Civil trial, car accident.
We were just deciding how much to award the person that got ran into.
Oh, okay, so the guy that was the victim, or at least got hit,
Yeah. He was
what
damages and
damages, money, and all that kind of stuff.
we had to sort out just how much money do you really
How much did he get? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I can tell you. I think he got $50,000.
Oh, okay, $50,000. Was he
His
injured?
lawyer was asking for like $350,000.
So he asked for $350,000, the lawyer.
And the defense was like, well, we'll give you 30. So we gave him 50.
50, okay. Well, I'm glad you're back. We've missed Dave. He's been gone a few days. Jonathan was taking care of shipping. I was no help in shipping, I must say. That's the way it goes around here. Good intentions. I can't deliver on these specialist jobs that I don't know how to do. All right, so anyway, here we are with two simple pros, and let's pretend you just got this out of the box. Now, when it comes in the box, there's this beautiful box. And I almost brought one in here, but what's neat about this printer is you can see, I'm going to leave this filament attached for now. It's very thin, so it lays down in the box, something like that. This is off of it. Counterclockwise threads, weird. So this actually is up here. Okay. So it lays down in the box like this. I'll flip it around so you can see it better. So it's in the box like that, and you can see this would actually travel fairly nicely, you know what I mean? You could put that in a suitcase if you wanted to, but this box has foam, and it's all really well padded, and it's bagged, and so you can keep your box if you order one of these printers, and it's really nice to travel with. We even made a little handle on our cardboard boxes. We just tape the boxes, put a handle on it, and we carry them like that. They're pretty thin, about like that. So some people think, well, it's not fully assembled when it arrives. Well, that's true. But let me show you what you have to do to assemble it. Take that out of the bag. This is all assembled. So, the mechanism is intact. What you don't have is you don't have the wire hooked to the motor yet, and you don't have the end stop plugged in. So that's what we're going to do. And there's some screws, and I think there's even a little Allen wrench like this. So you got 4 screws, an Allen wrench. Oh, I just dropped it down the knot hole. Pardon me while I do surgery. There's a bunch of screws down this knot hole. You don't hear that phrase often. Okay, come here. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, that's the wrong screw. That was a freebie screw. This is why you tune in 4:30 on Thursdays, isn't it? Okay, so you got 4 little screws. And that guy. And so inside here, I don't know, Dave, can you see in there at all? Can you see that at all? I can point. You see this? There's a plug in here for your end stop. And it's right there on the edge. Your end stop is a 3-position Molex plug. There's only 2 wires. There's 2 on the outside. So you want to plug that in. Now, it is kind of hard to reach down in there, but it's not too bad. So this is an awkward position for me to be doing this. But there, I got it. So your end stop is plugged in there, and then you've got a motor wire. So, and it only plugs in one way. So I'll plug in the motor wire. So I did that. So you got 2 wires stretching down. And there is a little tab here that kind of tucks back into this. And then when you tuck that back, it's on. Now you have to screw it down. So you move the bed all the way over to one side. And you start putting in your screws. Now I like to leave these loose until it's all aligned, and I make sure everything's threading in nicely, and then I'll go back and tighten them down. So, by the way, besides showing you how to get a print started on a Pro, I have nothing else to talk about. So if you have questions, today's a great day for Q&A. And if you don't have questions, I'm going to have this show over pretty quickly. Now, it is my sister-in-law, that's Dave's wife. It's her birthday today, so I do want to say happy birthday to Sarah. She is wonderful. And I love her. And I wish her a happy birthday. But Dave, that's his wife, so he's got to get out of here. So don't make us wait for questions. If you got questions, ask now. All right, so that's it. The physical construction is almost over. All you have to do is put this guy in. And it's kind of weird because righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is what you're just wired to do, because that's what almost all screws in your life, how they work. But if you try to go righty-tighty, it doesn't work. You got to go lefty-tighty on this one. Why? Because we make proprietary things that we charge people for. No, I'm kidding. Because I like the filament to come down over the top so that it feeds into, like from a high point down in here, right? If you did this, it has to come up and then over. And so if it comes tight, you don't have a good angle there. So I wanted it to come over the top. And when it comes over the top, it starts twisting this forward. Well, when you twist this way, it tightens this. So if you had this loose and it was going the other direction, it would actually want to unscrew itself. So there's an intention in that. All right, so that's it. We'll plug it in. Now, I wanted to, where is it? You get a laptop power supply, and this supplies 5 amps at 12 volts. But I want to show you a little something here. I said that wrong. You used to get a laptop power supply, but we upgraded this whole bot. I'm showing these today without a heated bed, but if you order one new, it comes with a heated bed, and you don't use a little laptop power supply like this. See, there's a plug, a barrel plug for that. But there's an ATX style plug here, and we actually have a bigger power supply that has a lot more power than this, 350 watts. Or is it 450? 350? 350. Anyway, so a lot more amps available, and it plugs into that white one. But anyway, you give it power is the point. And now that it has power, I'm going to turn it on so I can read these screens. Now, they both are reading access point. At least this will shortly. But if I want to get this on my Wi-Fi, what do I do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is look on my network. Let me make sure this is in access point. Yeah, see, it defaults back. When it can't get on the network, it's like, okay, fine. I can serve up a web page for you to put in the right access point, SSID, which is the name of your network, and password. But here's the magic. So, and I do want you to show this, Dave. So because it can't get on the network, it creates its own hotspot. And so in my computer, what I'm doing in the Wi-Fi here is I see Printrbot Wi-Fi network came up. So check it out. Boom. So I'm going to get on the Printrbot Wi-Fi network. And that is this printer's little Wi-Fi access point. So now my computer is actually hooked to this. Now, the cool thing is you can actually do that on your phone as well. I'll do it on the phone on this one. But now that I'm connected to that, I can plug in that IP address, 192, and it's going to show that same screen, 192.168.4.1. And boom. See, it's serving up that same page. So there's this little web page that's on all printers to help you change the username and password of the Wi-Fi. So we're at Wi-Fi SSID. By the way, this is the time to change the name of your printer if you want to. So I'll call this Printrbot 01. And the Wi-Fi is PBHQ. And the password is, I'm not going to tell you. And I don't know if I can type and talk at the same time. Okay, so I know my own password, so I did that, and I saved. And it actually gives me a little update. Wi-Fi configuration updated, restarting. So it's restarting, it's trying to reconnect to, oh, and it already did it. So it restarted its little Wi-Fi chip, and it tried to get on the network, and guess what? It worked. Now, interestingly, I didn't know that it would do this, but it chose the same IP address that it did last time, which was 176 as the last three numbers. And so when I have a big, excuse me, when I have a big print farm, I actually put the last three digits of the IP address on the printer. So when I'm walking around, they all look the same. I know which one I'm connecting to, and you'll see that in a second. All right, so now that that one's on the network, I'm going to turn this one on. Because if I were to turn on both of these at the same time, and I had two Printrbot networks, it'd get confusing. I wouldn't know which one is which. So this one I'm going to do on my phone. So I've got an iPhone, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to go to Wi-Fi. Wait for it. Hope this works. Yeah. So on my phone, you probably can't see this, but you'll have to trust me. Now that that booted up, couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi because I put in bogus information. It has a Printrbot access point. And it is an unsecured network. If you have a phone that's really concerned with security, it's going to bark at you a little bit like, wait, whoa, hey, what are you doing? And I'm just going to let it fly here. I think there was a couple settings in my iPhone that I had to change to be able to access unsecured networks. So there is that caveat. So I'm still waiting. Once it has the check mark that says that it was able to connect, there it is. So it says, okay, fine. I connected to an unsecured network. Good. So now I can go look, and I'm going to bet that it's 192.168.4.1, because I think all of them come hard-coded with that. Yeah. So now I'm going to go to my browser, and I'm going to type the IP address of that printer, 192.168.4.1. I've done it so many times it was already in my, it's really small. So, look familiar? So, same little screen. So I'm going to call this one Printrbot 02, PBHQ, whoops, capitals matter, PBHQ, and my super secret password, which is password. I'm just kidding. Dave, you're typing. Are people talking to you?
Yep.
You got some questions storing up for me? And it gave me the same update. Wi-Fi configuration updated, restarting. Now, my phone, when it can't connect to Printrbot anymore because that was shut down, I usually just go Wi-Fi off, Wi-Fi on. There's no Printrbot anymore. There's only PBHQ. So my computer, my phone, and both my printers are on the network. We've assembled it, and now we're ready to print something. All right. Let me get back on PBHQ on this one. Now, this is one other cool thing about having a simple Pro. So I'm going to printrbot.cloud. By the way, Poly3D is working on getting the Poly3D cloud working with these guys too. It will require a firmware update, but we're still in talks about it. But anyway, it's going to be cool. But right now, I'm at, Dave, if you can kind of, I don't know, is that close enough? It's so awkward for me to like twist and do that, but I want them to see. So I've logged in to printrbot.cloud. Now, if you were at a computer and tried to do that without a Simple Pro, it wouldn't work because we actually require some kind of a access. It's not really a serial number per se, but it is. It's a unique serial number. It's not the same serial number that's on the printer, though, right? I had from Make magazine, Mike Sinesi. He was trying to put in this number right here into the cloud. That's not it. Brian Rowe, I think, did the same thing. But there's, in the box, there's a number. Where is it located in the box? On that piece of paper? Or how do they get the...
box, it's on the
On what screen? This screen?
Yeah, that 32-digit number is your,
So this at the bottom is what gets me into the cloud?
I think so.
I just learned something.
Yeah, I have to look at the setup instructions, but,
Okay.
and so should Mike.
So we go on, oh, okay. So we've got a long, like this one is, it's 32 digits. I'm not going to read it all to you, but it's long. So that serial number will get you access to this. So anyway, this is my page. Now I have a lot of projects on here, and on the website, when you hit Create Project, I'm just going to call this Demo. This is kind of like a folder. Now I don't have to put, you can make a folder on your computer. This is blank right now. You can make a project on your computer, or a folder on your computer, and put one file in it or put 100 files in it. It's the same with projects here. So you can put one STL in it, or you can put multiple STLs in it. So what I'm going to do is go over to Thingiverse, and I'm just going to grab something. It does say my clock is set incorrectly. That's one reason why I was late. I kept looking at this clock that says 4:52. That's so weird. How do I didn't expect the clock on my computer to slow me down. I'm just trying to go to a website. Oh, now it's good. Okay. Thingiverse. I'm just going to pick something randomly. Now I'm going to try to pick something fairly easy, and the only reason is it'd be nice to see it start printing sooner than later. Let's see what they have if I do Printrbot. Well, a lot of Printrbot stuff. I'm looking for something small. Oh, you know what I like to print? Chess piece. Here we go. All right, I'm just looking up a chess piece. Something simple. OpenSCAD, OpenSCAD, chess pieces. All right. I'm going to just do a pawn. Oh, okay, that'll work. So this is designed in OpenSCAD. I'm going to download that file. I'm going to download all files. Yeah. All right, so all I've done is pick something to print. Now this will be, there's a lot of files in here. They give you the OpenSCAD, all kinds of stuff. Where's just a simple pawn? That's a split pawn. I don't want that. Here it is. Okay. Oh, geez, there's so many. All right. Now that I've downloaded, whoa, where is it? Over here. Okay. So in my project, I don't know anything about slicing yet. I'm a newbie. I just opened my box. I managed to put 4 screws in, 2 wires, and power, got on the Wi-Fi network. And now I'm going to upload a file. So I downloaded in my downloads, I've got all of these files. I'm just going to upload one right now. Why don't we do the horse 3. Come on. No, I want pawn. There it is. So what's happening is when you upload a file to the cloud, can you see the screen okay? I mean, is it okay?
Yeah, make it more vertical.
Like this?
That should cut down.
Is that better? Okay. So what happens is that's going to upload the file, make a rendering. It just did it. Here it is again. It made a rendering like a thumbnail, an image of what that file looks like. And so that's one thing about our Printrbot.cloud that is kind of cool. Instead of looking at like G-code and lines of like how it's going to print, this is a representation of the file itself. It's not a picture of it printed, which Thingiverse has some of those. But I could substitute this with a picture of the print, no problem. In fact, if I just say change picture, I could go in there and do that. Just select any picture and it'll do that. Now, not totally apparent to you right now, so I'm going to hit refresh because I knew it was working on slicing the model. So that's the beauty. You don't have to know about slicing. It slices at standard settings, and I can explain about that. But the nice thing about the cloud is you don't have to know about slicing. All I did was upload a file that gave me an image to look at, which when that gets to the printer, it'll help me. And it's already sliced this file. Now, if I did want to go in and change the orientation, it's not that sophisticated as far as like you can't do a whole bunch of scaling and stuff. But down here on the settings, if I just click, I can see I could do standard setting, I could do low setting. I changed it to low. You can change your infill. There's like 4 or 5 selections. You can print it with support. This doesn't need it. You can print with brim if you want. Doesn't really need it. So I'm just going to cancel that. All right, so you can change those, and then it'll reslice. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's rotate. So if I did, you can kind of see how that works. Whoa, what did I do? Sorry. Zoom back. That represents the build plate. X is there. Y is there. So let me zoom in. Okay. So it's kind of funny on a pawn. Let me see if I can flip it. Yeah. When you twist it on Z, it looks the same from all angles. That doesn't help me. But see how I'm turning it upside down there? So if I need to reorient, and these are, I think, 45-degree increments. So I could, if it came through, some people upload files and they're like facing the wrong way, you can like put it right side up. So anyway, you can reorient just in simple ways there. But really, this is done. I mean, once I uploaded the file, I got my image, I got my sliced file. So there's a button right here that says send to printer. So now we're going to simulate that we're on a print farm, and I have multiple printers. Because one thing that was annoying with running my print farm out here is I had some old printers without the cloud. I'm just getting back to home screen. I don't have to, but it's kind of fun to see. You got old simples, and if you wanted to print from your phone or your computer, you know, that's kind of difficult to load a file across, 18. I had a lot of printers, a dozen different micro SD cards, and then get all the files on there, and then make it auto 0.g to auto start, and then you're going around and restarting and unplugging and doing all that. But here I've only got my phone and these 2 printers, which I know are on my network. So I'm just going to go to the cloud here, printrbot.cloud. There it is. I got my chess piece right here. All I need to do is know we got 175, so I'm going to dial up 175. And by the way, I have multiple printers on here, but there's only 2 green dots. So one of the green dots was indicator kind of lights was 175. So watch, I'm going to send to printer. Boom, as soon as I hit it, it's sending the project file to the printer. So while that's downloading the thumbnails, it's already done. I'm going to go to 176, and I'm going to send to printer. Boom. And it's downloading. And so, it's already done. Now, all that did, it's so fast because all it did was download the project folder and the information. So it's only got a thumbnail, appropriately sized, for the project image. And that project image doesn't really have to have anything to do with the project. It could be a picture of the completed project. So I'm going to open that folder, or the project. And I only have 1 file in here. See, it doesn't swipe. There's only 1 file. I could add the whole chess set and then have an index file that says, hey, here's all the pieces that you could print. But there's only 1 in here right now. And so really it's only downloaded I'll open it over here. Really it's only downloaded 1 image. So the icon has a cloud and a down arrow. So I'm going to go download print. So it's downloading. And then over here, I'm going to say download print. Now, I only have to download that one time. If I want to print them over and over and over, they just live on the printer. There's a little micro SD card. I don't think I have an example. But there is a micro SD card in here, but it's got this weird file system on it, and it's not something that you're going to be able to just take out and load a file on and put back in. It's communicating all this crazy file names and stuff to the cloud. So this is truly only Wi-Fi to use the screen in the cloud. If you want to print via USB, you pretty much ignore the screen and you just print via USB. You have to do a one-time setup. But anyway, so some people say, oh, my Wi-Fi is so slow, it's so long to download that file. It is a little bit slow, but you'll see here, boom. So that just got finished, and so it's going to go ahead and start printing. So it was downloading the G-code file, and now that one's done, downloading the G-code file. So it'll heat up, and that means red. Red means heating, or means broken LED. My LED. I wonder what's wrong with that. Anyway, this guy's warming up. Hopefully this guy's warming up. But that's it. And so pretty soon you'll see it print. And that's all I need my phone for, just to move the files to the printer. So that was really all I wanted to show you. So if you can imagine me with 12 or so printers, I just uploaded the file with my phone, went around, hit download, print. And when it's done, I usually power cycle just for safety. I turn it off and back on. I wonder what will happen if I do that here. So when I'm done printing, I power cycle. You don't have to. You could hit reprint, but I'm a creature of habit. And I tell it to reprint. And so that's the process of restarting a file once you're finished. I'm going to move you down to save time. All right, so now we're on to the Q&A portion of the show, and these will start printing, hopefully. Will the Big E ever come back? Is the first question. So the Big E in its current form will never come back. But what will come eventually, and I'm not giving you any date, is I do have a big interest in large printers. You can kind of tell from it's doing its auto leveling. It just did that. I'll get back to the question. And now it's priming, which I don't see anything coming out. Well, yeah, there was some ooze or something in the last print. And so, oh, there it just now showed up. It's supposed to print the entire length and then back to the middle, but it was empty until it got to the middle. So look, it's printing our chess piece. That was easy. I didn't do anything. And if you can imagine a newbie, I don't know how to do anything. Well, we do recommend that you go through this procedure, this print procedure, and make sure the Z height is set correctly. But these were already set up correctly, so you're missing the calibration point. So the Big E will not come back like I built it, but the way I built it, I learned a lot, and I'm going to do another model of the Big E that is more rigid, and it'll be different. It'll be different. So will I bring back a large printer? Yes. And in fact, today I just found out that I will be working on that pellet extruder immediately. I got a guy that wants one. So that pellet extruder that I've been promising for a couple of years, I'm going to start noodling on it because I got about a month. I'm going to try to get it out in a month. But anyway, so that's that. The Adaptabot A360 file is live. Is that the...
Oh, sorry.
most current version of Adaptabot? Well, let's find out. I don't think it is, actually. So the most current version that I have the parts printed right here, is actually version 1.2. What version is that listed as? So let me make 1.2 live. Oh. Why is Autodesk offline? You know how Fusion 360 sometimes has updates? It says it's offline. So let me reboot Fusion just to see if it's my computer or Fusion. But no, I've got 1.2. It's 1.1? Yeah. So I'll get 1.2 live. I'll send that email to Dave or text or whatever when I get you a link to that. And then I'll post it on the adoptabot.org website. It's making me log in. What else we got? Are the Adoptabot kits shipping soon? Ah, Dave just told me there's 7 on order. Only 7, which kind of begs the question, do people not want these, or are the builders who don't have to buy them just waiting for theirs to assemble? I don't know. But I will tell you that we haven't had many sell because I haven't talked about them. I mentioned them in that one podcast. But yeah, these are, I've got all the parts. I got to put the nuts and bolts in a bag and send them out. So today's, yeah, I think I can get those shipped tomorrow at the latest Monday. So that's the answer. What else we got? Is there any adjustment on the gear head? The Alu V1 loads filament easy from the start by hand. The gear head sometimes requires me to extrude millimeters via software. Yeah, so that's funny that this one's printing and this one's sitting there. So check this out. If I were to, on this Pro, this is a gear head that does not have a screw adjustment in it. So the gear head that you order in the store has a screw adjustment. So the tension of it, since this isn't printing anyway, let me go to load filament. So this would be like me telling it to extrude forward. So it has to heat up to do so. But I can load filament in this gear head if I have a very straight filament. I can stick it in there and it's going to load it. But the gear head and the Alu V2 are different than the Alu V1. The Alu V1 wasn't really designed for flexible material, but the Alu V2 was. And so we made the hole, kind of on a small level, made the hole tighter, and we made the tolerances tighter. So it is harder by hand to get that in because the gear actually kind of interrupts, the gears kind of interrupt if filament was just going straight through. So it grabs it and the spring comes back, and so the way that the geometries are, yeah, it is a little bit harder to feed down in than the Alu V1, but it also will do flexible filament. So if I do pinch on this, I can kind of wiggle it around there a little bit, and boom, it's gone all the way down the hot end. But you do have to wiggle it a little bit because the tolerances are so tight. But the gear head is made to load filament all by itself. So probably shouldn't have done that. I wanted to cut this, sorry. When you pull it out, sometimes there's a little bulb on the end you don't want to get in your way. All right, so let's see if it works. All I did was just set it in the hole there. We have this load filament button to just, don't fight it, just let it do its thing. I'm impatient though, it's slow to load. Because look, it has to traverse like all the way from up here all the way down there. So we'll let that go. But anyway, if you don't have an adjustment like this one doesn't, there it goes. It just feeds and this spring tension is set to what it needs to be. On the other one that we sell in the store, there's a adjustment, I believe, a little screw that you can tighten. At least some of the old ones were that way. So that's working. Oh, so I'll just say done. Let's see if it'll print this part. It's weird that maybe I didn't hit the print button. I guess I didn't. All right. Is the print farm still running? Not at the moment. But I needed the space. I had a lot of space taken up in the print farm that I'm trying to reclaim. So I'm putting the printers on the shelf. We have a couple of shelves, just small shelves. And so the print farm will be back in business because I've offered to one high school teacher if he wants to send me one folder full of little itty bitty quick prints. I told one guy, I'm not telling you, I'm telling one guy that I would help him print some parts if he gets into trouble. So we also print a few parts that are, I guess, called production parts. So we need a farm all the time, but we don't need it very often. But I am going to leave it in place. Since we build our printers in metal mostly, I say mostly because like when we prototype, we do print some parts. So, all right, what else? Any idea when the high temp hot end will go on sale? So I had to ship out 2 of them to the Tiny G guys. So I only had 2 here. And I had to ship them both out to the Tiny G guys so they can get the high temp firmware working in the G2 firmware. So that's good news. So they're working on that while Carl is building some more. He's waiting on one part, I forget which part it was, but it was like he needed to it needed to be CNC'd a little bit differently. So, but he told me it would be a week or 2. Whenever I get them, I'll put them up for sale. So we have succeeded. Oh, the one question was the Adopt-A-Bot file. So hold on. Let me find that, and I'll put it live before I get off the air. But otherwise, we're pretty much done. Yeah, I always do this, Dave. It's going to be a short show. That's code for this is going to go way longer than you ever thought, Brook. Okay, here's Adopt-A-Bot folder. Let it load, and then I'll share the link, and we'll get out of here. Well, thanks for watching. We have successfully set up 2 printers as if we just received them, got them on the network, loaded a file, and now we got a tiny little print farm. So if you can imagine running a print farm with this and a touchscreen where all your files are here, so much easier than the old way of, 4 computers or shuffling files around. Because if I want to delete that project and upload a new project, I never have to leave my cell phone or the computer I'm using. And one computer can control all of them. All right. I am sharing public link. Allow download. Check, copy. Pulling up Dave's email. Signing in. Hey, there's Dave. All right, there. All right. Dave, you got the link. I just responded to the last one. Okay. So he'll get that on Facebook, and I'll put it on the Adopt-A-Bot page as well in a blog post. So if you go to news, I think it's news. Is that right? Might as well do it now. Adoptabot.org. If you click on the menu and go to News and Notes, it'll be V1.2 files are live, and then you'll have them. So that's it. Well, guys, thanks for watching this week. A little bit different, but it's good to do something different this week. But anyway, take care. Have a good week. Good weekend. We'll see you next week.